First, let me start with this trivia question. What do Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and Winston Churchill have in common? If you're thinking that these men are famous politicians, you would be correct about that. But there's something else that these men have in common. What about these characters? Jerry the Mouse from Tom and Jerry, Donald Duck, and Huckleberry Hound. I'll throw in one more for Mr. Bradensevic. Bond. James Bond. All 7 of these figures have something in common. If you haven't guessed by now, they are all commonly seen wearing bow ties. The purpose of this speech is to teach the club everything you need to know about bow ties. First, I will give you a brief history of bow ties. Next, I will teach you how to tie a bow tie. And finally, I will explain why everyone should wear bow ties and how to overcome the stigma of bow ties. Ultimately, I want everyone in club not only to know how to tie a bow tie, but to feel confident enough to wear a bow tie to Sabbath services. From multiple sources, I found that bow ties originated among Croatian mercenaries during the Prussian Wars of the 17th century. These Croatian mercenaries used a scarf around their necks to hold together the opening of their shirts. These scarves were known as cravats, derived from the French word for croats. These cravats, adopted by the upper classes of France, the leader of fashion at that time, later evolved into the bow tie. First a necktie, and some say also later the bow tie. And then much later on, these bow ties became associated with certain professions, such as architects, attorneys, university professors, teachers, waiters, and politicians. Classical musicians tend to wear bow ties, as well as grooms wearing traditional wedding garb. The bow tie, historically and even currently, is the pinnacle of men's formal wear. Now, of course, at this point, you may be wondering, why am I not wearing a bow tie? Mr. George Zakala, I would like to call on your assistance, please. Now's the fun part, gentlemen. George, it's good to keep him on. Step 1 to tying a bow tie. Remove this awful necktie. Step 2. Select the perfect bow tie from the complement of bow ties that you have at your disposal. I have a lovely chess piece set here. I have a lovely Chicago... Oh, no, absolutely not. Not this season. Oh, here we go. This one certainly fits my personality. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. Now you wrap the bow tie around your neck, similar as you would a shoe or even a necktie. Okay? Only slightly, just the one side larger. Now here's the important part. Pay attention to the pattern, because certain bow tie patterns only tie certain ways to actually have the right orientation. That's the very important part. So I'll show you that. But for this particular pattern, this one always ties left over right. Okay? So left over right in this case. So you make a loop, just like you're tying a shoelace, right? No problem there. Now here's the part where usually a lot of people get confused on. Now you have to make the bow. So how do you do that? You make the bow by bending one side, just like this, forming just a bow like that, and you flip the other part over the bow that you just made. Everyone following along here? So just like that. Okay? Now, it's very easy just to move the fold this way so that you create an opening. You see this opening here that I just made? Very important opening, because that's where this tail end's going to go. Does everyone see that? Okay. So we do that. Tail end. Oh, let me see in the mirror. Hard to see without a mirror. Okay. Never tied a bow tie in public before. But here we are. Okay, so once you get there, now you can straighten it. So what I'm doing right here is I'm pulling on this loop I just made from the back. So I pulled that back end through, and I straightened it all the way through this loop. So now I'm actually forming a tightening, right? Almost like a shoelace, just like a shoelace. The problem, though, of course, is this little crooked. So what you have to do is you stick your fingers in through this part, try to get it so that it's straight. Very important. So I'm kind of got to finagle a little bit. Because actually all the work in tying a bow tie actually comes from how you tighten it and how you adjust it. That's the trick that people actually often forget is how do you get it to be a bow tie, right? Everyone following along here? Fascinating, huh? Now this isn't my best one, but I am in front of everyone, so I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, so this makes sense, right? Now, notice the pattern here. You have the test tubes and the flask and everything pointed up. Now, watch what would happen if I go the other way with this pattern. So I'm going to go right over left. Which actually, I learned this recently because I was trying to figure out why is it always upside down sometimes? Oh, now I see. Okay. Now, do you see the problem here? When I form this fold, do you see how it's upside down? All the flasks, all the test tubes are upside down. No matter what I do, even if I flip this bow tie upside down, I still cannot get it to fit right. So this particular bow tie has a pattern, and it has to go left over right. Okay? So again, I'll just show you guys one more time all the way through. Over. Through like this. Okay? You form your favorite bow, just like that. Okay? Bend it over, just like this. Is everyone seeing here? Yeah? I'm seeing people are paying attention. That's good. There'll be a test after this. I have plenty of bow ties. Okay. And once I get it, now the finagling again. Always the fun part, the finagling. Alrighty. And here we are. So much better, right? Wasn't it so much better than my straight tie? Okay. Good. Good enough for now. Put the color in. Okay. Now, wasn't that easy? Georgia, you may take a seat. Now, wasn't that easy, gentlemen? With how inherently simple and elegant this tie knot is, the only question is, what led to the decline of the bow tie? It seems that some people are just afraid of bow tie. Oh, is there a problem? There we go. It just seems that some people are just afraid of bow ties. For example, Dress for Success author John T. Malloy is one of those scared people. He wrote, quote, "If you tie a bow tie, you will never be taken seriously. And no one will trust you with important business. No one." End quote. Some have argued that the decline of the bow tie began with Harry S. Truman, who was an avid bow tie wearer and dropped the 2 atomic bombs on civilians. Couldn't you kill the bow tie wearers, huh? Hopefully those guys who were killed were actually bow tie wearers. Anyway, some believe that that bow tie is a mark of conservatism, in fact, ultra-conservatism, and that this stereotype has led to bow tie wearers being called geeks and nerds. This stereotype needs to be dispelled. In conclusion, I will leave you with some final words on the advantages of bow ties. Number 1, a bow tie will never droop in your soup. What that means is that there's no more nasty stains on your ties. Number 2, a bow tie will never get caught in the cogs of machinery. So therefore, it is a great choice for men of action. Number 3, it is a mark of a conservative, which most of us tend to be. So some have identified the bow tie as the nose ring of conservatives. Number 4, if you have confidence, the bow tie is a badge of courage. And do remember that Hitler trembled at the bow tie wearing alliance of Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt. One of the greatest men I've ever known, I've ever had the privilege to know, had the trademark of wearing bow ties. Final reason? Bond, James Bond. To put it bluntly, real men wear bow ties.